Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 here tonight. Running just a snadge late. No one's on because I just came on. But I want to get this party going, so I'm going to say the pledge. Then I'm going to play the music. Then I'm going to come back and briefly talk about the kids. And then I got something I want to share with you guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt as love is stand. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt love is
And the guys who close, that's what we say. If you all together and then do it, so just wrap it up, please, sometimes in the 7. So you go 3 or 4 feet out, and just after this, and then 3 reasons from God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. I am. And folks, I'm going to talk to the kids. I want to thank everybody who's coming on, 39 people. I got something tonight. I don't usually get this excited, but I had one of those days. I got to babysit the little monkey today. They say she's sick. I'm not too sure, but I get to babysit her tomorrow afternoon again. I come down to Ron's today to drop my little puppy off and to get him a little lunch before I went to babysit her. I did that, and he looked at me and said, "Did you get my message?" I said, "I haven't looked." I said, "What's up?" He said, "They'd shut the government down." That there put a smile on my face like I got now. You know, made me very happy. Them people don't need work. They didn't work when they was there. But what really made me happy, because our our man, told us that we were going to develop wealth today or tomorrow. But I was very disappointed because I didn't see nothing. I never see no wealth. And I'm talking to Ron when I come home tonight. And I said, I was thinking about canceling the show. Because truthfully, all we had was Judy and the big call. Or Judy and then the big call. Babysitting her, I didn't have a chance to look up for things. And I was really in a I don't know if I want to go on because Jeffrey and Janet and Bill and Myrna, Beth, Jamie, Rocky, Mike Davis, and right there, I'm going to stop right there, Betty Woods. But Mike Davis sent me a message today. He sent me a message today, and I want to read it to you in a little bit after I talk to the kids. When I left Ron's house to go home to rest for a little bit, babysitting a 5-year-old can be very tiresome. But when I went home, as I'm getting in my car, getting my little puppy in the car, I looked at the sky and I said, God, I need a sign. I need something that I can take to my people tonight, that I can honestly come in there, Ian Bell. I can honestly come in and feel like I'm giving you some good news. Now, telling you that, I want you to keep in mind what I told you about Mike Davis. Because I'm going to read something that he sent me, and then I'm going to ask you to think maybe that was God working his sign to me. So let's talk to the kids real quick. Jimmy, looks like you've been very, very busy today. Patriot 11, hope everything is going good, along with Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp. Patriot Princess, there's a girl on Telegram. She's one of my favorite to follow. And she goes by Patriot Princess. And I sent her a message the other day and I said, there's another Patriot Princess. And she's as cute as you, if not cuter. And I said, but she also goes Patriot Princess, our queen. And she's got a brother named Hunter, who then we can turn to little Leona and little Leilani. And Leona, I expressed my feelings to Mike earlier today about what she means to me and the tears of joy and happiness she's brought to me. Patriot Bugs, Boogaloo, Boogie, and Bugs, Boogaloo, Boogie, and Boogaroo. Tremendous, tremendous kids. And finishing them off with Patriot Super Gymnast, Patriot 7. So if you guys go on my Facebook page, I sent a picture today with Patriot 5, 6, and 7, all in their patriotic shirts. I shared it in my story. Patriot 5, 6, and 7. You have Patriot Small Hank and Patriot Kira, and that does it for the kids. Kids, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm just going to tell you this video is not meant for you. You can watch it under the discretion of your parents, legal guardians, or grandparents. The music we played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. We have no legal rights to it, the same way as the audio that I'm going to play here just in a little bit. We have no legal rights to it. It's something that was shared to me by a friend of mine, and I will discuss in a little bit. And I think you guys are going to be in for 12 and a half minutes of really happiness and joy when you listen to this. I really wish I was smart enough that I knew how to do split screens where I could have it, the video, audio with a picture of this man up on my screen where you guys could see it, but I don't know how to do it. The only thing I know how to do is to play the audio, let you guys listen to it while I can sit here for a little bit, go and do some things, and just do what needs to be done. This audio I would not share. I was going to go and post it, send it to Ron. I was going to send it to Diane, to Myrna, to anybody who wanted. I was going to send it to Mike Davis. I was going to share it with everybody. And I said, no. Anybody who wants it, get in touch with me and I'll try to get it over to you. I believe when it's over, when everything is said and done before I go to bed tonight, I will be posting this on this channel here. I will be posting this on TikTok. I will be posting it on Facebook and on Rumble. Every place I have a social media site. And I don't have the biggest of followings. But I'm telling you, if people can take this, if you are serious about your freedom, if you are serious about Jesus Christ and God, if you are serious about what's going on here, you're going to want to hear this. But let me first read what my first encounter when I asked God for a sign. Because I got not one sign, I got two. And what do they say? Things happen in twos. So I asked for God for a sign and he gives me two. And the first one come from Mike Davis. And he says, Ralph, maybe you can tell the Patriots tonight that we all need to take a step back and trust God. Maybe he is testing us to see if we trust him. I know you and Ron, me, all our Patriots do, our Patriots family do. So maybe we can all say a prayer and thanking him for loving us so much that he is the God, the kick. So dear Lord, we come to you tonight with all the happiness and joy that you're about to bestow upon us. Our belief in you has never been higher. Our love for you has never been stronger. And our devotion has never been greater. As we come to you and turn our whole lives, our whole souls, our whole spirits over to you tonight, Lord, as we talk to you and pray to you. In our Savior, your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. That was sign number one. I just made that prayer up after Mike did that because I thought it covered everything. Many times, folks, everyone, I've talked to you about a friend of mine. His name is Ricky Revon.
I want to share something very personal tonight.
His name is Ricky Revon. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I've known Ricky for a lot of years. I used to do network marketing, and I was doing a company called YTB Travel. I sponsored a gentleman into YTB Travel. And on his way home from California, this gentleman decided to stop into St. Louis Airport, called the man who was running the company, met with the man who was running the company, and talked him into me not being his sponsor, but putting me under him, which did me absolutely no good at all. A couple days later, we got invited down to this owner's mansion. As I'm driving down there, I had also done a company, and I did real well in it, Excel Telecommunications. Doing this company, I knew the number 2 money earner in the whole company. I had his phone number. Me and him used to talk when we were doing Excel because we both built large groups in Canada when long distance service really went wild in Canada. I actually sponsored the very first person to ever come on to Excel Telecommunications in Canada. So I'm talking to this gentleman named Steve Smith. He was the number 2 all-time money earner, made millions and millions of dollars in Excel. And I said, Steve, you need to join me in this. I've already got Cameron Core in this. Join us and let's work this together. He says, when you get down there, have the owner, they called him the coach, and Ron Head, who was the number 5-time all money earner in Excel, have them give me a call. I get down there. I mean, I got cha-ching. I got money spots in my eye. I mean, I finally hit it. I finally did. I finally got the big dogs in my group. I get down there and I go to the coach and Ron Head after a little bit of time, and I said, hey, here's a phone number. You need to call this man. Who is it? I said, Steve Smith. Ron said, I know Steve real well. I said, have you sponsored him yet? He said, no. I said, well, he wants to come in my group. He wants you guys to call and get him in. They go into a separate room, and we are all sitting in there. Everybody was down there. There's like 30 people down there at the mansion. And they come out, give me a thumbs up. He's in. 12 hours later, as we're getting ready to do something, they looked at me and they said, oh, by the way, Cameron is your sponsor now. And Steve Smith went under Ron Head. They literally stole millions of dollars from me. I kept working the program, never made much money, but I did get lucky and bought some stock in it. And right after I bought the stock, it went from 30 some cents a thing to $25. And I had bought 3,000 or 4,000 shares and cashed them in and made some money. But it's kind of the company that broke my back. But Ricky Revon is a man who stuck by me. We went on a company cruise. Had to pay my own way, but Cameron Core, my sponsor, the guy that I sponsored, but my sponsor now, who ended up sponsoring the top money earner in the company. If I would have kept Cameron and Steve Smith, I was their sponsor. Out of the top 10 people in the company, I would have had in my group 9 of them. So you can imagine if they made millions of dollars in YTV travel, what I would have made. But I don't let anything destroy me. But I met Ricky Revon on this cruise. He was sponsored by Cameron, so Ricky would have been in my group. But I met him and his people, another gentleman named Barry, and me and my ex-wife had an amazing time. We have been great friends ever since then. He understands the situation. Okay, I had it stuck to me. But the reason I'm mentioning Ricky Revon is because remember I told you that I asked God, I need a sign. Well, I read the sign that Mike Davis gave me. I got off of that text message from Mike, and I looked and I said, I got a message from Ricky. So I clicked on the link, and this is what the link says. It's 12 and a half minutes long, guys, so you might want to quit chatting and listen.
I want to share something very personal tonight. It was late, almost midnight, and I was sitting alone. No noise, no cameras, no speeches, no rallies. Just me, the quiet, and the weight of everything I've carried for this country. And I asked myself a question I've never said out loud before. What will happen to America? And in that silence, something happened. A light not from the lamp, not from outside, but something alive filled the room. And I knew immediately it wasn't my imagination. Jesus was there. I saw him. I felt him. You don't doubt when it's real. You don't ask for proof. You just know. He looked at me with eyes that cut through everything. Through the pride, the victories, the failures, the mistakes. He saw it all. And yet, I felt no rejection. I felt strength. I felt compassion. I felt something I cannot explain. And then he spoke, not in a normal voice, not like a man, but like something inside of you and all around you at the same time. He said, America has a purpose. This nation was not built just for power or wealth. It was raised to shine light. But if my people forget me, that light will go out. I couldn't move. I couldn't answer. Tears came down my face. And he continued, it's not about politics. It's not about parties. It's about faith. It's about remembering who truly sustains this land. I still have plans for America, but the people must return to me. That moment changed me forever. And I want every American listening right now to hear me. If you feel alone, if you wonder if there's still hope, I saw him. He's real. He's here. And he has not forgotten us. I sat there, frozen. The light around me was warm, but it carried a weight. I felt small, smaller than I have ever felt in my life. And for a man who has stood in front of millions in stadiums and debates, in rallies across the country, it was strange to feel that small. Yet it wasn't weakness, it was truth. Jesus kept his eyes on me. And in that moment, I realized he wasn't looking at the president. He wasn't looking at the businessman, the fighter, the man on the news every day. He was looking at me, the person, the soul. He saw the boy who grew up in Queens, the man who stumbled, the father who tried, the leader who carried mistakes and victories together. He saw everything, and he didn't turn away. He didn't condemn. He lifted me up, not with words of flattery, but with words of purpose. He said, America is more than borders and elections. America is a covenant. It was raised to carry light, to stand when others fall, to guide when others lose their way. But a nation cannot guide the world if it forgets the one who gave it life. I felt chills down my spine. My mind raced with everything I've seen, the rallies, the flags, the voices of the people, the hard work, the hope, the anger, the struggles, and in that moment, all of it felt different. It wasn't just politics, it was spiritual. Jesus said again, do not be afraid of the storm. Do not be distracted by those who shout the loudest. My plans are not shaken by polls, by headlines, by attacks. My plans stand. I wanted to ask questions, but I couldn't. I was still listening like a child, hearing truth for the very first time. And I realized this was not just for me. This was for America. The more I listened, the more I understood that this was bigger than me, bigger than politics, bigger than elections, bigger than any one man. Jesus was not speaking about my career. He was speaking about the soul of America. He said, this land was blessed because people trusted in me. Families prayed together. Communities gathered in faith. Leaders looked higher than themselves for wisdom. But when a nation forgets, when pride takes the place of prayer, it begins to lose its strength. I thought about the times I've seen this country divided. I thought about the anger, the shouting on television, the bitterness on social media. And in that moment, I realized something I had never admitted before. America's greatest battle is not left against right or red against blue. It's a battle of the heart. Jesus said, a nation is not destroyed from the outside first. It is weakened from within. But if my people return, if they humble themselves and call on my name, I will restore, I will heal, I will raise it again. The words hit me like thunder, but at the same time, they felt like medicine. I felt both conviction and comfort. Conviction for the times I had put my pride above humility. Comfort because I knew he wasn't done with me and he wasn't done with America. I remembered the rallies, the faces in the crowds, the chants of USA, USA, and suddenly I saw them differently. These were not just voices of support for a man. They were voices longing for hope, for direction, for something greater than any president could offer. And Jesus said, give them that reminder. Tell them it is not about you. It is about me. If they seek me, I will do what no leader can do. I sat there overwhelmed. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like the one in control. And strangely, that didn't scare me. It gave me peace. I stayed silent, just listening. Every word he spoke felt like it was written directly on my heart. Jesus leaned closer. and his presence filled the room like no crowd ever could. And then he said something I will never forget. Donald, storms will come, nations will shake, but my kingdom does not shake. If America anchors itself in me, it will stand strong through every storm. I thought about the storms I faced, the criticism, the investigations, the betrayals, the headlines, and in that moment, they all seemed small compared to what he was saying. This wasn't about surviving politics. This was about America surviving as a nation with a purpose. He continued, you were chosen not to glorify yourself, but to remind people of the greatest leader is not the one who takes the spotlight, but the one who points others to the true light. Those words cut deep. I've been praised, I've been attacked, I've been called every name possible. But hearing that, I realized something. History, power, fame, they all fade. But what he was offering me was eternal. I sat back in my chair, tears in my eyes, and for once I didn't feel like a fighter or a president. I felt like a man who had been given a second chance. As I sat there, the light around him began to shift, almost like it was showing me scenes. I saw America, not just the powerful buildings or the great cities, but the people, ordinary families, workers, children in schools, pastors in small churches. And I realized this is what he cares about most, not the headlines, not the polls, but the hearts of the people. Jesus said, if they return to me, I will restore peace in the homes. I will strengthen families. I will bring healing to communities that feel broken. The true greatness of America has never been in its wealth or armies, but in its faith. Those words struck me hard. I've talked about making America strong, making it prosperous, making it respected, but he was showing me that greatness is something deeper, something spiritual. I saw churches filled again. I saw neighbors helping each other. I saw children praying without fear. And then I saw something else, division fading, anger softening, people choosing unity over hate. Jesus looked at me and said, this is possible, but they must choose me. Remind them, Donald, remind them before it is too late. In that moment, I knew this was not just an experience for me. It was a mission. I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. And I'll tell you, I'm not the kind of man who cries easily. I've stood through storms. I've fought battles. I've taken the punches of politics and media, but this was different. This was holy. Jesus looked at me with eyes that carried both fire and mercy. And he said, America is standing at a crossroads. One road leads to pride, division, and collapse. The other road leads to humility, unity, and renewal. The choice is not in the hands of politicians alone. It is in the hands of the people. I felt those words echo inside me. And suddenly, I saw the faces of millions of Americans, farmers in the fields, workers in factories, mothers putting their kids to bed, soldiers standing guard at night, all of them waiting, all of them longing for direction, for hope. He said, if they call on me, I will answer. If they seek me, I will be found. If they repent, I will heal their land. But if they continue to forget, they will lose the very blessing that made them strong. It hit me that this wasn't just about government. It wasn't about laws or elections. It was about hearts turning back to God. Because without that, no president, no party, no policy can save a nation. And then he said, you must speak. Tell them what you have seen. Tell them what you have heard. For my message is not for you alone, but for America. I bowed my head. And for the first time in a long time, I felt completely surrendered. Not to politics, not to men, but to the one who rules above all. When the light faded, the room felt different. Quiet again, but not empty. It was as if his words had been carved into the walls, into my mind, into my very soul. I sat there, knowing I would never be the same. I thought about everything. He showed me the families, the churches, the workers, the children, the future of this nation. And I realized something simple but powerful. America's true strength has never been in its buildings or its armies. It has always been in its faith. I know people will doubt what I've shared. Some will mock. Some will question. Some will try to explain it away. But I can only tell you this. I was there. I saw him. I heard him. And his words are more real than anything I've ever faced in my life. So tonight I want you to reflect, not on me, not on politics, but on what really sustains this country. Ask yourself where our hope comes from, where our strength is found, and what kind of nation we want to be for the generations to come. May we choose the path that leads us back to him, and may God bless America.
There you go. I don't know what you guys thought. I think I do know what you thought, because when I got up and left after a couple minutes and I came back with about 7 minutes to go, I've never seen the chat room so quiet. It was like everybody was listening, and I'm looking at all the praying hands and all the comments that were made. And to me, guys, as God is my witness, I did not want to do a show tonight. I was depressed. I needed a sign. And see, this isn't the first time that this has happened to me. There was one time that, and it didn't have anything to do with the two incidences where people tried to steal the show. This was just a time that I had lost belief. Not in God or Jesus Christ, but I had lost belief, and I didn't feel I was touching anybody. I thought my shows were bad. And I'm laying down in my bed, getting ready to come up down here to Ron's to do the show. And I said, God, I got to have a sign. I can't keep going like this. I know I promised you. And I told him, I said, I know I promised you this, that I promised you that I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't give up. But how much work? I mean, I'm accomplishing nothing. I didn't feel like. Thank you, Tony. And I walked in the door. And as I walked in the door, Ron looked at me with a smile on his face. And I said, what's up? He said, man, I got you so much for the show tonight. Have you been in where I put it? And I said, no, I haven't. He said, I got you so much for the show tonight. And I went and looked, and I said, oh, my goodness. Remember what I said to God when I sent out to the first 12 people when I started this show. I said to God, I said, if I can just touch one person, it's a success. David Rodriguez and the other guy, Juan Osavan, they challenge people to go and start shows. Send out to their people. And I sent out to 12 people. I said, God, if I just touch one person, this is a success. And when I walked in that house that night, I knew I'd touch other people. But I walked in that house, that Ron's house, and he said, I got so much for the show. And he was happy. He was contributing. He was part. It was right after that the show became Patriot 5, Patriot 6. But then after it became Patriot 5 and Patriot 6, I kept looking over here. And I kept reading things at Golden Arrow or Janet or Tony, Dean, or, whoever is here. Bo George, Grandma's been with us a long, long time. And I've been looking at the way people was, and I says, it can't be Patriot 5 and Patriot 6. It's got to be Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. For those of you that came in late, and I think it was, I seen someone that came in late at the video was almost over. I'm going to ask anybody, when this show's done tonight, go in and listen to it again. Share it with everybody you can. What I just played, tell them they don't have to listen to what I say afterwards, because there's nothing that I can say in tonight's show that can top what we've already talked about, what we've already done. But just imagine if I was intelligent enough, or if I could get help and someone could show me, which I know my son could, but hey, I actually got him to talk to me a little bit tonight about the bed, so I'm not going to complain that he's completely against things. He has a heart condition like myself and Ron doesn't. I think it kind of hit him that this could maybe get him off them medications that he's on. And if they're not real, they're not real, but boy, I'm really believing they are. And Julia, the girl in the Ukraine that I write, she's starting to get involved in this so much. She said, can you give me information on these beds? So instead of putting in my letter that I wrote her last night, I wrote her a special letter with all the information about the beds, a lot of it. The letter I received from her today, one whole paragraph, she says, oh my goodness, I took it home. And she can speak English real well. But her mom and her best friend who live with her can't. The kids can't. And she said, after supper last night, I said, can we talk? After she had received my letter, she said, can we talk? And I said, yeah, what about? And she said, I want to read something to you that Ralph sent me today. And she read about these beds. She read about these, and she said, wow, my mom and my best friend had tears in her eyes of what can happen, not just to them, but for people all over the world. And she also wanted to know about the big N and the big G. So, I've got the information on that. So I put it in another one. She told me the information that I sent her, she printed it out. She printed it out on paper. And she said she was happy that she was using a computer in the back corner of where she goes to send, because it took 17 pages to print it out. But then she read about the big N and the big G to her mom and her best friend. And she goes, wow, this guy really isn't lying. He knows what he's talking about. Kuzmo, what do you think? Don't think nothing about that. That's what they want to say, because they're the bad people. They're real. And the only reason I'm going to tell you, Kuzmo, that they're real is because in Kankakee, Illinois, there's a hospital called Riverside. Not once, but twice since 2020, they've saved my life. So I have a little bit different view on doctors and nurses than a lot of people do, but they saved my life twice. But there's also a lady that works there, a nurse that works there. Or she did, she retired. After 40 years, she retired. And I said, I didn't think you'd ever retire. You'd love it. She said, well, really, I'm not retiring. I'm resting. I said, what do you mean you're resting? She said, I can't tell you. I said, what do you mean? Talk to me. And she says, well, there's something. I said, oh, you're resting. Let me tell you why you're resting. And she said, why? And I said, about the special beds. But I didn't say that to her. I called them by name, because this is a man and a woman talking in public. We can say what we want. We don't have to be tricky. And she says, what do you know about them? I stood there for the next 15 minutes telling her what I knew about them. She said, wow, you should start working for them too. You know as much as we do. She said, I was trained on them, Ralph. I've seen them. I laid in one of them. I didn't have nothing done, but I laid in one of them. They're in our hospital in Kankakee, Illinois. Now, guys, don't rush to Kankakee and ask to get in them, because they're not going to release them then. So I'm just telling you, if you read, because it's funny, because I had misplaced some of my stuff on the beds. And when Kuzmo said that, they're not real, he heard people saying they're not real, they're conspiracy. Well, sure, they're going to tell you that. You know what? They're going to also tell you that we're not going to go away from the fiat money. They're going to also tell you that the rats are still running the country. They're going to also tell you that nothing has ever changed. They're going to tell you everything that they want you to hear, because there's a few of them left that think they have some power. They don't. There was a gentleman that I seen the other day, and I wish I'd have took down his name. He was a judge or something in that regard. I'm not remembering exactly what it was. But the whole thing is, they said, get to know this man real well. And I really wish I'd have saved it. And if I could physically kick myself in the rear, I would. Because I should have saved it. But I think it was on our Telegram site where I saw it. If it wasn't, it was probably on either Wolverines or it was on Patriot Princess. But it said, get to know this man because he's going to be the chief overlooker of all the trials at GITMO. Can you imagine that? Gary, can you imagine that? John? I know Janet can. But see, tonight's show, truthfully, was saved by Mike Davis because he was my first sign. But see, I'm not going to mention other people's names. And I didn't read what else he said. But in that message that Mike Davis sent me, he says to me that a certain person was really upset. She really needed picking up tonight. That person, like I said, I'm not gonna mention her name. It's not Missouri Girl, but I seen she just come on. Soretta, it's not Tony. Matter of fact, I haven't seen the person on tonight. But when I get off of this show tonight, after I get off of the show, after I finish here, have a little dinner, sit back and hopefully watch the Yankees beat Boston. I don't like Boston. And if you're from Boston, don't take it personally. It's just, there's really only one color socks in baseball, and they're white. And I don't like the Yankees either. Matter of fact, if the Yankees and Boston could figure a way that both teams would get eliminated tonight or tomorrow, I'd be a happy person. If the Cubs get eliminated tomorrow, I'm going to be a happy person no matter what the rest is. I don't care about the baseball no more. I think you're going to see people coming back. Getting off of this subject that I'm on real quick. Well, we're finishing with Mike Davis. I will be talking to this young lady, and I will tell her, I didn't see you on the show tonight. Make sure you go watch it. And you only have to watch it. You don't have to worry about what I'm saying after, because what I'm saying afterwards, guys, really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What mattered is what Mike Davis said, and what mattered was what the hat said tonight. Would you agree, Carrie? Or Don Keys? How you doing, Don? Good to see you here. But I think I've only did this once or maybe twice in over 5 years I've done shows. I'm going to suggest that everybody either share this video. You can even tell the people, I'm sending it to you. Listen to the pledge, listen to the music, listen to the little chat with the kids, and then listen to the next segment. Just with a hat. You don't have to listen to the rest of the show. But listen to that. Thank you, Missouri Girl. Yeah. Well, we don't talk about that lady anymore. Well, every now and then we'll bring it up, you know. I was on TikTok the other day, Missouri Girl, and I got a message. Her name would like to follow you. No. You know, there's a thing that, you know, no. No part of them. She might be a nice lady, but, you know, I don't hold grudges. I hope that she's getting along great with God, and I hope she's got her oars back in the water and they're actually rowing this time instead of thinking they're oars in the water, but actually thinks she thought it was a motorboat. But I promise you I'll never tell you that I won't give you information unless you hit the like button and subscribe. It doesn't matter to me. The people's going to subscribe. They're going to hit the like button who wants to do it. Right, Don Keys? Yep, Janet says it. God, please hear our prayers and heal the sick in our world. Amen. Now, I'm going to get into my part of the show tonight. I really don't know a whole lot about Bruce last night. Marianne, who I was hoping would be on here tonight, but Marianne was busy last night, so I didn't have no one to tell me what was going on and chat with. Ron did come up with some things. Kind of going to read a little bit about Brucey in the small call. Oh. But before I do, there was one other thing that I wanted to, well, just as I was coming into Ron's house tonight, running just a little bit late, he was on the phone with Patriot Diane with two N's. And I am saying the letter N, not two N's, you know. But he was on the phone, he said, video call, and he says, hey, take this. Let her explain to you what she's trying to tell me. I said, okay. I took it, and she said, hi, sweetie. And I said, hi, what's up? And she says, well, you told me to get back with you about TNT's call tonight. And when I only talked to her for 30 seconds, she said, TNT said everything is done. We could be getting the numbers tonight sometime between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning. So we might wake up to the numbers. She says, listen, everything, he says, everything is done. The only thing we're waiting on, all the banks are ready, all the, centers are ready, the money's there, we're ready to go. We're just waiting on the numbers. So, and then I'm going to read this because I just got this from her, but this is something Ginger in Mike Barra chat stated. This is Tony says Iraq has been broadcasting on media all day within 48 hours. Tony says that fits perfectly with everything going on for us to beat the banks on the weekend. He verified with a bank and a 3-letter agency today. They told him people can go to the bank or call 800 numbers on the back of their cards. Tony, Frank 26, even though he doesn't believe in 800 numbers, and the guy in Puerto Rico, Mark, will get the 800 numbers because there is something different being done in Puerto Rico. Tony's 800 numbers will have a code attached to it that authorizes his members to get a higher rates. A bank story, a friend, the caller called a Chase Bank in downtown Houston. They said they are not exchanging yet, but they have a rate on the screen. Previously, Chase had said they will not exchange those currencies. Tony says the banks are seeing higher than normal rates. Iraq should make an announcement tomorrow, though they have already told their people they have the highest rate in the region. Some people are already exchanging because they were selected by banks. Tony complained about it, LOL, but he is willing to wait 48 hours. The government shutdown will not affect it, and the plan is full steam ahead. Tony still believes it will happen between midnight to 2 a.m. according to planned time in Iraq. If Eastern EST, that would be 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in Baghdad. So I'm a little confused there because I thought Tony said tonight, but now he's saying tonight, but we may not be going until before the weekend. But guys, here's the whole thing. And this is exactly what I'm getting out of this. The whole thing is here. We're ready. We're just biting at the bit. Everything is in place. Here's Bruce, the one that we read. And I'm not going to go through a lot of it, guys. I'm going to give you the main. Yep, can't do it. There will be no Bruce tonight because when I just tried to go there, they're telling me that it won't open. So Bruce was just saying pretty much what I've been telling you, that everything. You know what? I'm not even going to say what Bruce said. I'm going to go to Judy. And for anybody that would like to see it, I think it was on Telegram. I have a little thing here that I could send you over on Messenger. That it says when Diana met Michael Jackson. And if you watch this, you know, they've said things about Diana. They said she's a certain person, and we all know who they said she is. And I always just blew it off. See, because when you look at this certain person, and you know who it is, it's the lady that walks with the hat, lives with a hat. But when I said it, I looked, and I never saw it. And the reason I never saw it was because I never saw Princess Diana in outfits like the other lady wears. But if you look at this, the transformation, and I mean, guys, with AI out there, they can do anything they want. And it could be AI generated, but it was something that I found intriguing. So much so that when I was looking at it last night, I said to Ron, my God, she really is. I literally said that, Gary. Family Channel, I did. Because, hey, Jerry Wells, good to see you. Sean Trucking with BS. Okay, Sean, before I go into the thing, I have a question for you. Sean Trucking with BS. My best advice is to stop being in denial and see truthfully for what it really is. Could you explain to me, Sean Trucking, what BS is it? Can you explain to me what's going on? Are you telling me that the last 18 years of my life has been nothing but BS, or are you saying the BS that other people are doing? I mean, I thought I put together a really good show tonight. Very, very emotional, very, very God-worthy. And hey, Don. Oh, isn't that going to be good, Don? When we do this stuff, the looks on their faces. I will tell a couple stories about my family after this is all said and done. But you know why I think it? You know why I think we're really, really close to? Because I believe in kismet. I believe that something happens for a reason. And I've told you, I've been waiting so long for this government shutdown. Sean, I'm still waiting to see what BS we're spending here. You'll help me out here, buddy. Not picking on you. I just say, you're saying not once but twice that this is BS. Is it the BS that the bad people are trying to put out there, or are we doing something wrong?
I think she must like to be on that.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Just forget it. Myrna class have cleared it up for me. Thank you, Myrna. Sorry. I like I said, I was not picking on you. I'm a true believer. Still can't get it. Oh, no, I can't. I know why. I'll have a talk with him. This is what I need. See what Judy's got to say, and we're going to call it a night. This is from Judy Bidington, Restored Republic, via the GCR updates of Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. By the way, guys, happy first day of October. Can you believe it? I was writing in the letter, and she was writing in a letter back to me, Julia. And it seemed like she just told me a couple of days ago. She wished me a happy no, she wished me a happy fall day, first day of fall. And I'm thinking it's the first day of September. It's not the first day of fall. But in the Ukraine, September 1st is the first day of fall. So she's been doing that. And yes, it was, Grandma Bo. I thought you'd like that. Share that with your grandson. No, I will be sharing that with Amber, and I know they'll sit down as a family. Red October, the hat fortifies D.C. National Guard, deployed military JAGs assigned, U.S. INC government shut down, Vladimir Putin declares war on Israel. S, star, 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 C, control over Washington, D.C. Judy note on Wednesday, 1 October 2025, as the U.S. government shutdown begins, the HAT's federalized National Guard dedicated to 24/7 operations surrounded by the U.S. Capitol, as did non-scalable fencing securely locking everything down. The long-awaited Red October was underway, a synchronized operation to reclaim the U.S. Capitol, secure justice, and dismantle entrenched corruption in a coordinated campaign to fortify the Republic. POTUS had already declared Antifa a terror or whatever, it's got other letters in it, organization, and signed a memorandum that he had immediately cut their funding to zero. Putin had declared war on Washington, D.C., that S blank blank and worshipers of which were the center of the HAT's mandate to save the children. Possible timing, Wednesday, October 1. President the HAT stated many Americans will be happy on October 1st, 2025. That day is the beginning of the new fiscal year for the U.S. government, although Congress didn't fund the government, so today signals a government shutdown. The Wednesday, October 1st, 2025 government shutdown will be permanent for many offices. The offices of management and budgets has been telling agencies to prepare for elimination list. On Wednesday, 1 October 2025, Big N, Big G, 30+1 protocols would be released to erase debt, smash the IRS, dismantle the Fed, and rip globalist control of the root out by the roots. This is not to reform. This is a purge. Big N, Big G on Telegram. Monday, 13 October was expected to be the beginning of a banking and market crash. Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 has been designated as World Quantum Day, when Big N, Big G law will be officially throughout the world. By Tuesday, October 14th, Bitcoin would be gone. Servers and data centers obliterated. 99.5 of all crypto vanished. Only ISO 222 coins backed by gold would survive as the fiat died. The stock market would crater, such would signal the end of the CABALF SWIFT global banking system. By the next day, on Wednesday, 15th October 2025, there was an expected to be a full banking and market crash that would trigger activation of the emergency broadcast system. When the EBS began, communications would go dark worldwide. The lies would end and the truth would explode with mass arrests, tribunals, and justice. The HATS Global Military Alliance would be in charge for the first 3 days. There was planned to be a full global lockdown with borders closed and only essential services open. Days of communication darkness would ensure as the MOSSAD/run mainstream media machine collapsed and the HATS Global Military Alliance took over to disclose proof of globalist terrorism, treason, corruption, and crime on radio, TV, the internet, and cell phones worldwide. Implementation of the Big N law mandated closures of U.S. INC and automatically wiped out their privately owned by foreign bankers, Federal Reserve, and IRS. That corrupt system had been illegally taxing our income since 1918. Americans would now experience the installation a 14% tax on new items only, none on food or medicine. Maritime law would be revoked while Americans returned to common law, sovereignty, and true justice under leaders loyal to the people. As 95% of the government will be reduced through the results of the October 1st government shutdown, DOGE audits, and mass arrests, new to fair elections were ahead for the restored republic that would function under the concept of the original Constitution. The rest of it that I'm looking at seems pretty much what I did read. Monday, 2025, TNT Tony, good weekend. The bank started paying people on Friday in 10 different areas. They also paid people on Saturday. On Sunday, they called their people and put them on hold. They were told exchange would begin in the afternoon. The banks are calling their senior people. They said the boulevard isn't being exchanged. Hopefully tomorrow morning through October 3rd will be our time. The agencies are celebrating in New York because 100% of everything has been completed. The banks are paying cash, not SKRs. Tony was told this morning at 5 a.m. that he would receive the 800 number today. He hasn't received it yet. Tony asked what the window was. The answer was blank, 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 exclamation point. Rates are still high. Wells Fargo, Chase, HSBC, Citibank, and the Bank of England are paying. Tony will come and give us updates on what others are trading. Security will be very important. Check with your state lottery office and ask about the security class. Banks have a withdrawal. Hopefully we'll get ours soon. It's done. We await our call.
You told them what Diane said?
Yeah. September 29, 2025, SWIFT just pulled the pin. Weeks earlier, SWIFT confirmed it's opening its network to crypto, not fighting it. XRP is officially on the table. They will not issue their own coin. They will instead act as a switchboard connecting banks, digital assets and settlements rails worldwide. The playbook, SWIFT says, stays neutral. It won't compete with crypto, only enable it. Banks pick the assets they want for settlement, including XRP. The GPR surface locks in speed, transparency, finality. Traditional banking and blockchain systems will now run side by side. This is the bridge between the old financial system and the new quantum ready network. The gatekeepers are signaling they won't block this shift. They are building it. For XRP and Ripple Tech, this is clearest green light yet. Integration into SWIFT means instant global reach for any bank that opts in. It also means no one can stop the flow once it goes. Translation, SWIFT isn't trying to be Ripple. It's wiring the world so Ripple can carry the load. The power to settle the cross-border trades, remittance, and receivers could now flip in seconds, bypassing the legacy in choke points. Restored Republic breaking report, read October, and I've already read that. Let's see. Pretty much just saying how the hat deploys troops to Portland, full force authorized, revealed on Telegram. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Actually, Bruce must not have been much because last night they didn't even put anything in here. Guys, I don't know about you, but I feel, as the song says, I feel good. Do. I knew that I would now. And I do want to go back and apologize for the BS comment. I misread it, and Myrna helped me. And please don't take it personal. I just thought that you was going things. One voice, yes, go back. You know, you've pretty much seen everything from the you caught the last part of that. Just watch it through the hats part if you want. But guys, I'm encouraging you to send this out to friends, send it out to families, and just tell them you don't have to watch. But I mean, for someone that didn't have a show, I thought today's reading of Restored Republic was the best one ever, and I give all the credit to Ron and Diane. They make sure I have that every day. I couldn't read Bruce because of technical difficulties, but you know, he's hanging in there. I feel bad for Bruce because he still thinks he's getting the 800 numbers, and who knows, maybe he'll get them. Maybe he'll announce them tomorrow. But I guarantee you, if he does, he'll still have Sue and Bob come on and sell their products because it just got that little bit. They gotta make that extra money. And I didn't think there's no way I'd do an hour show tonight. But I'm telling you, keep God and keep Jesus Christ in your heart. Talk to him every day. Pray to him. Let them know you heard the hat say, and one voice, you'll hear it. You'll hear it. The hat is telling you, Jesus Christ is asking us to prove to them that we believe in them. And we do. And with that, good night. God bless. And Ron and myself, Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and even Patriot 7 asked me to mention him tonight. We all love you with all our hearts. We can't wait for all of us to get together, have some fun, and just do and accomplish what we were chosen, everyone here. Grandma Bo, you were chosen to be here. And soon, sweetie, you're going to get on that bed, and you're going to be, me and you're going to dance. You remember that. Me, you, and Ron even says he's going to dance with you. Hey, them beds are going to do miracles. Guys, we love you all. Good night. God bless.